What the industry's been doing for the last 20 years has been growing at double-digit growth. So we've come from a place where maybe in the 80s, Irish whiskey represented only 1% of global market share of the exported whiskies, which was near extinction, to in the last 20 years growing consecutively year after year, where we now represent 4% of global market share. So that's coming back from the brink of 1%. And in particular, the last 10 years have been very impressive. We've seen a compound annual growth rate of 9% per annum for the last 10 years. And that's put us now in a position where Irish whiskey is the fastest growing whiskey category in the world, and has been for the last number of years. So it's very exciting that 95% of what we produce here in Ireland is for export, 95% for export, and of that 98% of it is brand driven, and brand builds categories, and this is what Ireland's good at. Between now and 2020 we're looking at doubling to 12 million cases, and doubling that again by 2030. That's growing our market share from 4% to 12%, and now we become a serious player in the market. But we're not sort of losing the run of ourselves. We know if we look across at our near neighbours in Scotland, they're doing 90 million cases. But this is fantastic for us to aspire to that long term. They're doing 90 million cases versus our 6.7 today. Scottish whisky represents 1/4 of all British food and drink exports. It's phenomenal. It's second only to the oil industry in Scotland. I think 1 in every 4 jobs in Scotland is touched by the whisky business. So this for us, they've set the standard, they've set the bar, and this is, long-term aspirational for us. Ireland has been hugely successful in branding the independent, its own brands of whiskies, but as a brand in its own right, which Irish whiskey is, it's now a brand in its own right. It's got its own geographical indicator in Europe. So what we're saying is, as part of our strategy, we want to promote the category, and not just, yes, the individual owners of the brands will promote theirs, but we as an industry need to promote the category. We need to work with government agencies like Board BIA to do that, and also access funds. In Europe there's a fund called EU GI, Geographical Indicator Fund, which is primarily there to help promote a GI category such as Irish whiskey. We need to do that, and we have a lot of ground to catch up on the likes of the Scotch in it.